It's finally October, yay! So it's time to talk about what I knit up in September, what I got up to, the acquisitions, a little finished object, and another so close to being finished object. Hey folks, if you're new here, I'm Dawn. This is Tangled Together, where I talk about my knitting hobby as well as the other things in life that get tangled up in it. September has been a good month. It's also kind of flown by. My kid's been in school. We've definitely settled into like the new routine with school. There's been some back and forth a little bit with like school drop off. That's the one thing that for a while we were struggling with, but knock on wood, seems to be kind of turned a corner with that, but who knows. So I've been settling into like feeling a lot more settled into this new routine of, you know, during the week, school drop off, coming home, getting work done, having a few minutes of like quiet time during the day, which has been so nice since my kid stopped napping. Although she's napping at school, still not napping at home. Yeah, like the dogs are definitely adjusting, and just kind of lazing around all day. And it's been nice because like I've felt a lot more present in the afternoons and on the weekends with my kid. Like we usually do some kind of after school, go to the library or go to a park or something. And then like on the weekend I can be a lot more present because I've gotten my work done throughout the week and had a few moments here and there to like stay up, like keep up with household stuff a lot easier, so that, you know, when I'm not working during the day and in the evening, it's a lot more manageable to be like, okay, yeah, I can take 10 minutes and do the dishes and then go back and we can play together, or take a few minutes before I go to do pick up and be like, great, all the emails have been sent, all the work things have been done, I've got 10 minutes before I need to leave, I can just do a quick tidy. I also don't have a little tiny toddler running around untidying things, so then like at the end of the day when we're doing the like evening closing routine, it's a lot easier because there's not just everything. It's like, okay, great, there was this activity that we were doing that didn't get cleaned up before dinner. I can finish cleaning that up, do the dishes, and now like we can actually sit and relax in the evening. It's been nice. And that also means that I feel like I've had a little bit more like dedicated, focused knitting time, and also know a little bit more like when I'm going to have knitting time. But I have had less of the like playground out and about knitting time. Just because like, I don't know, I think after my kid's been at school all day, like we both want to like spend a little bit more time together. And so there's been a lot more walks or doing stuff together, than like it used to be. Going to the playground was the like, hey, you get to run around and go interact with other people while I just stand here and supervise, because we've been like on top of each other all day. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. My finished object, my Dido tee. Ooh, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I'll insert some like full frame shots of me wearing it and some detail shots and stuff like that. But this worked up very quickly. I was really happy with the pattern. It was the first Sari Norland pattern that I've actually made. I've definitely eyed a couple of other ones, and this was the first one that I was like, I'm going to cast it on and I'm going to do it. And I think the pattern was written really well. I think my only complaint with the pattern is for like the neckline and the sleeves. There wasn't the rate of pickup that was indicated that I always like when designers do that, especially like I ran into that kind of as an issue along the neckline, less so the sleeves. The sleeves worked out. She did have you place a bunch of markers as you were going. So the instructions for picking up was like, okay, between this section and this section, pick up X many stitches. Now between this section and this section, pick up X many stitches. And then had the like for a total of this. So that was actually like, I did like that because then you were working in these smaller chunks. So if you were off by a certain number of stitches, you could just go back to that previous marker and change the rate that you were picking up, particularly along the neck where there were sections where, because of varying increase rates to get kind of the correct shape for the neck, it was a little bit harder to be like, okay, so this many rows, I'll pick up this many stitches. So that was, I think, my only complaint about the pattern. The rest of it was really easy to follow. You worked up, you started the back of the neck, and then picked up the shoulder, each shoulders, and then came and connected. And then once you had the armholes, you did it in the round. It's been a while since I've done anything that's been lace, and I think that was like a shawl or a scarf. So I was a little nervous when I first tried it on because it was very snug, and I was like, okay, I checked the gauge. I know it's going to, like, the lace is going to relax and open up, as well as like the rest of it, because this is a bamboo merino silk, or yeah, this is a silk merino blend. And so it was like, I know it's going to open up. It's going to like have a lot of nice drape. I will trust the blocking process. And oh, I'm so glad I trust the blocking process because it made a huge difference. I'll throw some before and after. Very happy with this. The only thing that I had to like redo was the neck. I did pick up about the correct number of stitches. I think I was like off by 2 initially, and did the whole neck, bound it off, and then I tried it on and I could barely get it over my head. Now I don't know, I might have bound off a little tight. I did an Italian bind off, and the second time around I made sure to like do a little bit of a looser Italian bind off, because this yarn does have some silk in it, so it's not going to be as like flexible as just a pure wool yarn. But I was like, this is way too tight. And it also, like, it didn't look right. So I ended up, I think I picked up like 20 extra stitches, over what Sorry Norland had in the pattern. Now I did do like a couple of extra rows of lace, in like this section before, I did like, but it wasn't that many rows. It was like 2, maybe 4 rows, that I'd gotten on a roll and didn't realize I was supposed to switch to another section of the pattern. But I was like, that's fine. It will just give me a little bit extra space. And actually, I think that worked out well because I do have a larger proportion bust size than some other folks. I am like a D. I think that in some ways actually allowed the top to fit a little bit better. It's not quite as snug around like this part. And yeah, very, very happy with this finished object. I definitely would recommend this pattern. I think it works up really well. I'm glad I did it in a silk merino blend, because it's going to be really great for warm weather. And because it's also that lace, it is breathable, and just lovely drape. Definitely going to be wearing this in the spring. I think this is a very good like spring color, but I'm also not somebody who like doesn't wear clothes during certain seasons because it's a specific color. So I might wear this more into the fall as we're having some warmer weather days, and maybe even like layer a light jacket over it or something. But yes, so happy with this. All right, let's talk about the works in progress. And I'm going to start with one that I was so hoping was going to be a finished object for this video, and I'm so close. And that is my CatKnit sweater. I have 2 completed sleeves. And I'm about halfway through done with the ribbing on the bottom. I probably am going to finish this by the end of the week, so not quite finishing it in September. Hopefully, actually, by the time this video is posted, I'm filming this on Tuesday and it's going to go up on Friday. I'm hoping by the time this video goes up that this is actually done, or I'm just like weaving in all the ends, because I do have some ends to weave in. I'll give you a little sneak peek of the inside of this. Not a ton of ends because it was just two color work, so you kept carrying the color throughout. But yay, and like the weather's finally starting to cool off, so if I finish it this week, I can wear it all Hi, crows. Yes, thank you. You're being so loud right now. But yes, if I finish this week, I can wear it all of October and November and December and all winter, because if you don't know, I'm in coastal Virginia, so things don't get all that cold here during the winter. Like, we definitely will have a handful of cold days. We'll occasionally get snow, but we tend to have a little bit more milder winter than necessarily like even the winter I grew up with. I grew up in Michigan, so I do miss the cold quite a bit, and like cuddling up in sweaters. But yes, I did at a knitting meetup. Somebody was like, how many rows do you have left? And at that time I had like 20 rows left. I only have 14 rows left now. And they're like, oh, how many stitches in each row? And I'm like, it's over 300. And they looked at the needles and they're like, you're basically like knitting a giant sock. And I was like, it is fingering weight yarn, and currently I am using 2.25 millimeter needles. So yeah. I started this in January. It's taken a while, but I've also taken some breaks from it. But I'm so looking forward to having this as an official finished object for October. I'm kind of calling it an honorary finished object for September because it is so close. Like, I could technically be wearing this right now and you would just assume it was a finished object. As long as you didn't see that there's a needle in the bottom and string, and the ribbing's only halfway done. What are my other works in progress? I have a decent amount of works in progress right now. So I haven't made any progress on the fingerless mitts that I showed you. I had one done. I still need to do another one to finish that off for me. I've been I was focusing so much on finishing the Dido tee and the CatKnit sweater that a lot of other projects have kind of been in a little bit of a mini hibernation. The dogs have come in from running around outside, so if you hear little clicky clackies or see little tails, little snoots running around, that's why. Ripley says hello. Ripley, look over there. Nope, okay, bye. Oh no, I've riled you up. Nope, don't go after the microphone. You guys have to do that right now. So on to the other works in progress. Beyond the hand warmers, I do have this sweater for my daughter. Again, I'm on the ribbing section, but I'll just have to finish the ribbing. I think I've only got a few more rows of ribbing and then binding that off and then doing the sleeves. It's in this very fun Malabrigo unicorn party unicorn confetti. It's this all like rainbow confetti colored yarn that she picked out at the yarn store. I went to go pick up needles that I needed to finish the Dido tee, and she was like, Mama, I need you to knit me a sweater. And I was like, well, I can't say no. So there's that one. This was actually a work in progress. I forgot to include in August because I kind of forgot I had cast it on. Haven't made a whole lot of progress. But this is a sock that I'm kind of doing my own thing. The pattern, it's a 2x1 like broken rib that is from the Kalina sock. I really like that pattern, but it's top down and I prefer toe up construction. So I'm using a different base sock that is a toe up until you have the heels. Socks look so funny. that is a toe up construction, and then I'm just adding in that kind of knit textured stitch pattern. That's the word I was looking for, stitch pattern, to get the feel of the Kalina socks without it being with it being a toe up. So I'll make sure to list like the sock method that I'm using. It's actually from one of Knitpick's sock books. This had been my like playground knit until I started working on my daughter's sweater. So it hasn't been getting as much work done on it, as well as I did bring the CatKnit sweater with me a couple times, like when we're going to stuff at the library, where it was like, I can actually be more sitting down to work on this than like needing to wander around the playground. But I think once the CatKnit sweater is done, I'm gonna continue working on these on the playground because they're a little bit easier to manage than a complete kid's sweater, because once I start doing the sleeves, I'm gonna have all of this to just kind of hang, and that gets a little not as fun. Okay, I have one more whip to talk about, and so remember in the last video when I said like I'm gonna finish the Dido tee and the CatKnit sweater before I cast on the book club cardigan? Guys, I broke that rule within a week, but I think it was for a fair reason. I had finished the Dido tee. I had gotten through the, had cast on the neckline for the CatKnit sweater and realized that the size needles that I needed for the ribbing, I just wasn't going to work. I needed a longer needle. I had 2 smaller needles and I tried casting on that way, and I was like, these are going to fall off of these needles if I do this. I'm going to drop stitches at some point. So I was like, okay, I will get a longer needle and the needle size that I need for this, but it was going to take a few days for me to get that. And it was like a Saturday night, and I was like, I want to knit something. I probably should have picked this up and just worked on this, or the hand warmers, but I really wanted to start the book club cardigan. So I was like, I will start it, and then once I get the needles in, I will put that aside and I'll work on the CatKnit, and I have been doing that. But yes, this is the start of my book club cardigan. Yay, look at that. Yeah, so it starts, this is going to be like the back, and I am really enjoying this pattern. I like the moss stitch in the center and then the cables along the sides. It's been a very easy cable pattern to remember, especially as I'm going, like the hardest part to remember is kind of this diamond right here. But this cable especially is very easy to do. It's been fun. It's so nice working on something that's worsted weight after doing so many fingering projects. Like this I did in 3 days. 3 days. Where's the CatKnit sweater? I've been working on this ribbing for 3 days. So it's just been nice to like have something that is like this super squishy, woolly yarn, bigger needles, and it's working out faster. Like my hands have just it's been a really nice break. So I think definitely moving forward, I should try and limit the number of fingering weight projects I have, just going at any one time, just so that I have stuff that I can do to give my hands a break when I need it. So yes, I'm very looking forward to finishing the CatKnit so I can pick this back up, and I have a feeling I'm going to fly through this. May not finish it in October, but who knows? Maybe I will. I feel like definitely I really am going to try and get it done so it's done before the end of November. I think this would be a great thing to wear in the car for our Thanksgiving trip, and to have for all sorts of holiday stuff, just as a wonderful like cozy layering piece. I did have some acquisitions in September, so I got you already saw a little bit of it. I got the yarn for my book club cardigan. It is Knit Picks Simply Wool in the color Winkle. I did a little unboxing video of this. It smells so nice. It has this like lovely sheep smell to it that I did notice when I blocked the gauge swatch, like the smell went away a little bit, and I think especially like the wool rinse that I use has a little bit of a scent to it. But like with that, it also definitely has some of that like natural lanolin in it, because my hands feel fantastic after I knit with this. And yeah, it's such a nice like squishy yarn. Very happy with this. I think this is a nice like neutral for me. It's maybe a little bit cool. I maybe could have gone with the warmer one, but I do like a cool neutral. The other acquisition was I won a giveaway with the Knit Picks ambassadors, and I got sent a whole bunch of sock yarn. I got 7 skeins from the Melisa sock yarn line, which is a new line of sock yarn that they have, that is all of this super like saturated, very vibrant colors. So yeah, it is in collaboration with Twin Stitches Designs, and it is 85% superwash merino wool, 15% recycled polyamide, so good kind of nice sock yarn. And yeah, I got a bunch of different colors. So this is the Nordic Waters. I did get to pick the colors that I wanted. Vintage Rose, that I might get another one of these to make a staff and light top out of this color. Harvest Moon, maybe that would make a like really nice like fall sock. Whispering Pines, Amaranth Flower. I also really like this color and think I might pick up another couple of skeins of this to do something for myself in that color, because I love knitting purple things. Silver Lining, just a nice, very nice silver gray color. And then I also got Claire's Red, which is such a bright red. I was a little thrown by how bright this is, but my daughter's like school outfit is a red top and navy bottoms. So I thought maybe I can use this, maybe paired with like this, to do like a striped sweater for her. Because this should be enough to make a 3-year-old sweater. So yeah, I have all of those. I did kind of try and pick some colors that like they do kind of, let me hold them all up together. So yeah, like you can see them all here. There are definitely some colors in here that I think pair better together. But I love how vibrant these are. I feel like these would be really great for like a color work project where you really want some vibrant color. And I feel like especially socks is great for that, because you could maybe go bolder, like something like this in a sock than maybe you might feel comfortable doing in a top. And yeah, I'm excited to work with this. It feels very nice. It feels like a very soft, I mean, that's the merino wool, but also like feels like it's gonna hold up well, like it's not gonna just fall apart. So great sock yarn. I'm not really gonna talk about plans in this video because I did that whole like fall planning video, which you haven't seen. You can go check out here or here. I do have plans. I do have things that I'm gonna be working on. First off, finishing that CatKnit sweater, and then book club cardigan. The final thing I wanted to chat about is, as several people said, they'd love to hear like about books or games or things that I've been up to. Let's chat about a couple of books real quick. So I, at the beginning of September, finished this book, A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by J. Penner. This was such a fun read. It is like a fantasy Great British Baking Show. Like that is the premise. The main character gets invited to go to this baking competition, and like the way it's structured and everything that's going on is the baking show. Like they have the signature, and then the technical, and then the showstopper. But you know, she's has this hesitancy because she's just a normal human. She doesn't have any extra magic to her, and there's a fun little romance in there and some other side characters. And apparently this is the first in the Addenshire book series, so I'm definitely going to be picking up more of this book series because it was just such a great, like, cozy fantasy, very easy, quick read. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Yes, if you love Great British Baking Show and you love fantasy stuff, check out this book. And then the other book that I started reading, and you can see where I am in here. I did have a bookmark, but my daughter has absconded with it and I haven't found it. So we're using the dust sleeve to mark where I am. But that is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I've read a lot of other things by V.E. Schwab. I think one of the few things I haven't finished reading is A Darker Shade of Magic, and then the rest of the Darker Shade of Magic books. I have it. I can see it on the bookshelf behind the camera, but I just have not actually finished reading it. I started it, but the couple times that I've started it have just been times in my life, I think, that I needed this kind of book. I didn't need a whole understanding a multi-world system and magic and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. My brain just wasn't in the mood for that, but my brain has been definitely in the mood for this. So this is about 3 different women in different time periods who all are possibly somehow connected. I'm still only... I'm a little over halfway through the book, so still figuring out how they all connect. But yes, and they're all vampires. It's got vampires in it. I'm really enjoying this. I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab and love that. I love Vengeance. So when I found out when I saw this at a bookstore, I was like, I have to get it. And it's the signed edition. So that's fun. I now have a signed V.E. Schwab book. I actually got both of these books at the same time. I got them at, oh no, I'm forgetting the bookstore's name. I'll put it on screen. This adorable little bookstore in Williamsburg that my husband and I went to on a little night getaway that we did when my folks were in town. And I had to leave that book. I had to go to my husband and be like, we need to leave now before I spend more money. Because I had an armful, I had 8 books. Because it was just such an adorable little underground bookshop. And whoever stocks that bookshop, we have the same taste in books, because I was like, ooh, this nonfiction book looks interesting. Ooh, this fantasy book looks interesting. Ooh, this sci-fi book looks interesting. Ooh, this kid's book looks something right up my kid's alley. I was like, I have to leave because I want to buy every single book in this store. So I definitely, next time I'm back up in Williamsburg and feel like my wallet is going to be forgiving of me purchasing more books, I'm going to be checking that bookstore out again. Those are my 2 books that I'm reading right now. Thoroughly enjoying different vibes, but I think I was reading this mostly in August. This is a good end of summer. You're starting into the cozy season. Maybe good September, early October read, because it's got that baking and coziness. And this has the spooky stuff with October with the vampires and such. So hey, I did that by accident. Yeah, that is it for what I've been knitting, what I've been up to in September. I'd love to know how your September went. What has been on your needles? What have you finished? Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I also want to do a quick thanks to everybody who subscribed. I got the little notification that 1,000 people had subscribed to the channel. It was such a yay moment. So thank you so much. If you've been watching and you subscribed, that means a whole lot. And I'm loving to start to get to know some of you in the comments. So, all right, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.